This week, the EU and India signed one of the biggest trade deals Europe has done in decades. Not because Brussels and New Delhi suddenly fell in love, but because both are being squeezed by Trump's trade wars, and they need allies. At the same time, India has just overtaken Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy. Global tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft and Google are pouring billions into the country. And Europe just put its full political weight behind India with a deal that goes far beyond tariffs. So here's the real question. Can India replace China as the world's factory? Or is this just another India's rising hype cycle that collapses under reality? Today I'll show you what's really happening, why it's happening now, and whether India can actually deliver. Let's break it down. Here is what most people aren't saying out loud. Europe is scared. Over the past year, Trump has treated the EU less like an ally and more like a rival. He slapped tariffs on European cars, he demanded billions more for NATO protection, and publicly mocked European leaders and even called the EU worse than China on trade. For decades, America was Europe's security and economic anchor. Now Washington is openly using trade as a weapon. So Europe did what anyone does in a crisis. It started looking for alternatives. First came a long-stalled deal with South America's Mercosur bloc. Then came India. And this isn't just a trade agreement. It includes defense cooperation, technology sharing, and strategic alignment. This is Europe admitting something important. We can't rely on the United States anymore. And here's the twist. India is also being targeted by Trump. Threatened tariffs on pharmaceuticals, pressure on IT services, the same hardline approach Trump uses with everyone. So you have two players being bullied by the same superpower. And they realized the obvious solution: team up. But Trump isn't the only reason Europe is moving fast. The deeper issue is China. For 20 years, Europe built its economy around Chinese manufacturing. German car makers, French luxury brands, industrial supply chains, everything assumed China would remain cheap, stable, and open forever. That illusion collapsed. China began weaponizing trade. Lithuania recognized Taiwan, and Beijing practically erased it from the Chinese markets. European criticism of human rights abuses was met with economical threat. Then COVID hit. European governments suddenly realized they couldn't produce basic medical equipment. Factories shut down in China and supply chain across Europe froze. The dependence was total and dangerous. Russia's invasion of Ukraine was the final shock. Europe had trusted Russian gas and paid the price. Leaders looked at their Chinese dependency and recognized the same mistake. And China itself is changing. Wages are rising, the population is aging fast, China is losing tens of millions of working-age people. The era of ultra-cheap Chinese manufacturing is ending. So companies need somewhere else to go. And when you need scale, some kind of democracy, and English-speaking talent, there is really only one option left: India. This isn't theory anymore, it's money, real money, being spent right now. Amazon is building massive data centers in Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Chennai. Microsoft is expanding Azure across India to handle AI and cloud workloads. Google is investing in cloud infrastructure and manufacturing partnerships. These aren't temporary projects. Data centers are long-term bets, 20 years commitment that require stable electricity, fiber networks, cooling systems, and political reliability. When tech companies build data centers, they are saying we trust this country's future. And it's not just cloud computing. Micron is building a major semiconductor facility, Apple is already assembling iPhones, Samsung is manufacturing phones and TVs. This isn't low-end assembly, it's high-tech industrial production. Companies didn't choose India because it's perfect. They chose it because China has become too risky. The January 27 trade deal is much more than tariffs. Yes, duties on cars, pharmaceuticals, and industrial goods are being cut. That alone reshapes trade flows. But the strategic heart of the deal is defense and security cooperation, shared military technology, maritime coordination, intelligence partnerships. This is Europe quietly aligning with India in the Indo-Pacific, and the signal is powerful. When 450 million of the world's wealthiest consumers back India, global market notice. Japanese automakers notice, Korean electronic firms notice, investors notice. For India, this deal is validation. For decades, it was the country with potential. Now it's the country getting contracts. But there is hard truth here. India got this opportunity because the global system is breaking. Trump destabilized alliances, China scared everyone, India just happened to be standing in the right place when the scramble began. Now, for the uncomfortable part, because this can still fail. India's infrastructure is in a serious weakness. Moving goods to ports is slow, roads are congested, ports lack efficiency, rail networks are outdated. Power reliability is inconsistent in many regions. That's nightmare for semiconductors fabs that need uninterrupted electricity. Bureaucracy is brutal. Land acquisition can take years. Permits drag on. Regulation varies by states. Labor laws are rigid. Scaling workforce up and down is much harder than in China. And while India produces world-class engineers, workforce skills are uneven. Factory-level training often lags behind that China built over decades. Apple's experience says it's all. Production happened but with higher defect rates and slower ramp-ups. Companies are patient for now, but patient isn't infinitive. India will never be the China of the early 2000s. That era, massive low-wage manufacturing is over everywhere. But India doesn't need to copy China. It needs to become something new. A hub for advanced manufacturing, semiconductors, AI infrastructure, high-level electronics paired with a massive domestic market. The opportunity exists because alternatives are limited. Vietnam is too small. Mexico lacks scale. China is too risky. India is winning by default, but default wins still require execution. The money is real, the EU deal is signed, supply chains are moving. What happens next depends entirely on what India does now. History will remember 2026 as either the year India finally broke through or just another falls down. The door is open, India has one chance to walk through it. If you want to track how this plays out, subscribe and turn on notifications. And let me know in the comments below. Can India actually pull this off, or is this another hype scale? Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.